Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, esteemed guests and dear cycling enthusiasts. As Lord Mayor of Copenhagen, it is my distinct honor and pleasure to welcome you all to the UCI Mobility Bike City Forum and the Copenhagen Cycling Summit 2025. Today we gather around 200 participants from Bogota over Brisbane to Copenhagen, as well as guests from governments, businesses, organizations, federations, and academia. Copenhagen is globally recognized as a frontrunner in cycling infrastructure and sustainable mobility. And we are honored and delighted to host this year's forum in combination with the world premiere of the new Copenhagen Sprint, a new addition to the UCI World Tour calendar. Copenhagen has a proud history of hosting some of the world's biggest cycling races, from hosting the UCI Road World Championship in 2011, the Tour de France Grand Départ in 2022, to now being the proud host of our new UCI Tour race, Copenhagen Sprint, for both men and women. And in 2029, we will be hosting UCI's Road World Championship once again. However, our ambitions stretch beyond just bike racing. In the case of Copenhagen Sprint, we aim to use our elite cycling race as a platform for political discussions on cycling, as well as public engagement with a public bike race and a bicycle festival. We hope you will experience this during your visit here in Copenhagen. Today, we will discuss cycling from different perspectives, from cities around the world, from global organizations, from the cycling industry, from the youth, and from professional riders. This illustrates cycling's wide-reaching impact across different sectors. It is not only about setting goals and recognizing cycling's positive potential for health, for the environmental, for mobility, and for livable cities. It is about translating these ambitions into concrete measures and policy. I hope by the end of this forum we'll find ourselves a step closer to achieving this. Once again, welcome to the UCI Mobility and Bike Forum and the Copenhagen Cycling Summit. And now let me introduce my co-host, the City of Copenhagen's Mayor for Technical and Environmental Affairs, Line Barfod.
Thank you very much, Lars, and thank you for all of you coming here. I look forward to having a very interesting day, and I wish you also a warm welcome to the 2025 UCI Mobility and Bike City Forum in combination with the Copenhagen Cycling Summit. As Lars said, this city is built on cycling, and today we will celebrate cycling. Some of you have traveled very far to be here with us today. Some of you are local, and you might have crossed this bridge when you came here today. Building bridges is not only what we do in reality, but also a metaphor for what we are aiming for also today. We want to show everyone that Copenhagen's success with everyday cycling is about cooperation across parties, across administrations, across sectors, and across topics. If we work together across nationalities, cultures, across politics and professions, across sports cycling and everyday cycling, then we can remove the obstacles and release the enormous potential of cycling. The cycling bridges of Copenhagen are an illustration of how far you can take a cycling culture. The bridges connect our cities and let workers and students clear their heads on the way to and from the office and the university. The bridges make it possible for parents to skip owning a car and transport their children in cargo bikes. Or they can cycle relaxed next to their child on the way to school. Some of our bridges, architectural diamonds, like this one, sending a nod to our city's history of ships with a design that resembles the sails of the ships. In some cities, there are highway flyovers for cars, but in Copenhagen, instead, we have made bike flyovers. The bridges not only get you a shortcut away from traffic, they also allow you to see your city from a new perspective. In Copenhagen, cycling is how we live. It's freedom, it's flexibility, and it's function. And we cycle throughout our lives. We start when we're very, very small children, just for fun, and then we go on. Cycling is everywhere in Copenhagen. There's even a car mechanic service that uses cargo bikes when they go to repair the cars. And there's an undertaker that offers to do your last journey on bicycle. Cycling is fun, especially when it's summer. But cycling in Copenhagen is not always as easy. Sometimes it snows. So we clear the cycling tracks, and actually we start with the cycling tracks before we take the roads for the cars. Sometimes it rains, so people have to wear rainproof clothes or get very wet. Sometimes it's dark, and still we in Copenhagen ride on our bikes. That is the kind of everyday resilience that we want to inspire to other cities. The roots of this vision go far back. In Copenhagen, cycling is part of our DNA. We have been a cycling city ever since photos were taken in black and white, and there were so many cyclists that nobody needed bike lanes. These black and white photos show that even in the 1930s and 1940s, Copenhagen was a city of cyclists. We are blessed in Copenhagen by being a flat city, but we almost lost our roots. In the 1960s, cycling in Copenhagen almost disappeared. We got car crazy like the rest of the world. But luckily, the civil society stood up. They defended our cycling culture and demanded that we get cycling infrastructure. Urban space tells a story, and in Copenhagen we have been rewriting that story. Once our city squares were car parks, but the last decades we have been recovering the public space, taking space from cars and returning it to the people. The cases are numerous, and if you did not have the before photo, maybe you would not believe how it looked. But the Copenhagen some of you know and love might not have existed if it was not for our ambitious and visionary people creating a better city. Now the car parks are instead living spaces for people to walk, rest, meet and move. This transformation is a result of a strong political will and an engaged public, and it shows that cities can change with the right priorities. The transformation is still ongoing, and recently we carried out a massive pilot project in the medieval part of the city. After intense dialogue with shop owners, residents and other stakeholders, we are now removing the car parking and making more space for pedestrians, cyclists and trees. But let's not get totally carried away, because there's still a lot of work to be done. When we look at how our space is distributed, the numbers speak clearly. 49% of our street space is still roadway. 9% is car parking. Just 6% is bicycle lanes, and only 1% is bicycle parking. So even here, in what we like to call a cycling capital, we still have work to do. And in Copenhagen, we still plan for cars, even though most people do not own a car. Actually, it's only 25% of the people living in Copenhagen who has a car. The fact that most trips are done either by cycling, walking, and by public traffic. And that's why in Copenhagen, we also need to shift into the next gear. Look at this photo. We are more than 4,000 cyclists that cross this bridge every day. That is more than there are cars on the bridge on the big belt between Fyn and Sjælland. Look at how many cyclists there are, and look at the space that is occupied by only 3 cars. We need to raise our ambitions for better infrastructure, more equity, and more space for people on bikes. In 2022, we hosted the Tour de France Grand Départ. Back then, we also hosted a cycling summit. One of the legacies was a national declaration that we would have 20% more cycling in Denmark by 2030. That goal has been a guiding star for us, but the work is not done. The world needs more cycling cities, not just for our climate or congestion, but for quality of life. This summit is our opportunity to share knowledge, challenge assumptions, and to raise the bar together. Because progress don't happen on its own. It happens when those who believe in change work together to deliver it. The momentum is here, the need is urgent. Let's take the next step, not just as individual cities, but as a global movement for better urban futures. Thank you, and let's get to work.
Thank you. Lord Mayor Lars Weiss, Mayor of Technical and Environmental Affairs, Leen Barfod, National Federation representatives, UCI bike cities and regions, city leaders, UCI partners, ladies and gentlemen. On behalf of the UCI Cyclist International, I would like to welcome you to the 2025 UCI Mobility and Bike City Forum, hosted jointly with Copenhagen Cycling Summit. It is a true privilege to stand before you today to welcome you here to explore, inspire, and to advance the future of cycling and urban mobility. UCI President David Lepatien could unfortunately not be here today to join us on stage due to overlapping political commitments. But rest assured, he will be joining us and all delegates tomorrow for the start of our bike tours, as well as the bike parade. The UCI is delighted that the 7th edition of the UCI Bike City Forum is taking place in Copenhagen, which is the first city, as we heard before, to have been awarded the UCI Bike City label in 2008. The UCI Bike City label is awarded to cities and regions that not only host UCI international events, but also promote cycling for transport, leisure, health, and environment. Now that there are 30 UCI bike cities and regions in 15 countries worldwide that have received the label, we have overwhelming evidence of the benefits and success stories to share with the world and other cities and regions. Cities and regions around the world are increasingly recognizing the importance of sustainable and active mobility, as well as the environmental, social, and economic benefits for promoting mobility. It's good for your health, it's good for the environment, and it reduces traffic congestion. But the overall list of benefits for society is, of course, much, much longer than this. In a world where cities are growing, populations are shifting, and the need for sustainable solutions is more urgent than ever, cycling offers us more than just a means of transportation. It is a powerful tool for climate action, healthier communities, social inclusion, and a vibrant urban life. The bicycle is more than two wheels. It is a vehicle for change. The UCI has a unique role to play in transforming cities, given our global presence and passion for the bicycle. The UCI's Agenda 2030 aims to make cycling the sport of the 21st century, to make it more inclusive, and to develop a lifestyle around cycling. Last year, the UCI launched its new Bike City Pathway, which allows any city on any continent to benefit from guidance on cycling for all, in order to create healthier, safer, and more resilient communities. It equips cities with the necessary tools, case studies, and expert resources to transform into a thriving, bike-friendly community, fostering safer, healthier, and sustainable futures for all. But our work is far from over. And over the next 2 days, we will have the opportunity to discuss how we can collectively enhance and use the humble bicycle through new ideas, collaborations, and global objectives. We have the honour of welcoming an outstanding keynote speaker, Jeanette Sadiq Khan, the former New York City Transportation Commissioner and the global voice for People First urban design, in addition to numerous experts and city leaders from all around the corners of the globe here today. At the UCI, we are particularly proud to launch the UCI's new Ride and Learn program, which aims to harness the power of cycling for education and social inclusion. In partnerships with Peace and Sport, we will also reveal the winners of the 2025 UCI Cycling for All and Sustainability Awards. Copenhagen's world-class cycling infrastructure and exemplary vision to be the best cycling city in the world makes it an ideal setting for the forum. You will have a chance to discover the extensive cycling network and infrastructure during tomorrow's tours. In addition, you will have the opportunity to experience the inaugural Copenhagen Sprint, UCI World Tour and Women's World Tour event, along with its vibrant public festival and bike parade. What better way to truly fully experience the positive impact and legacy that cycling can bring to events? Let this forum not just be a place for discussion, but a catalyst for action. Let us leave here not only with ideas, but commitments to build greater, greener cities, safer streets, and a stronger culture for cycling that goes beyond sport and becomes part of everyday life for everyone. Our sincere thanks go to today's expert speakers and our hosts, the City of Copenhagen and its partners, Wonderful Copenhagen, and Sport Event Denmark. We wish everyone an inspiring and productive forum. Thank you.